You want to know the moment that changed everything? It wasn't when I retired. It wasn't when my wife passed. It was the day my daughter laughed at my bank statement. Not a polite chuckle, not a nervous giggle, a full-blown laugh, like she'd just heard the funniest joke of her life. Let me back up. Let me tell you how we got there. Because this story, it's been 47 years in the making. I am Walter Green, 74 years old. Worked at Morrison Steel Mill for 43 years. Started on the floor when I was 18. Retired as a shift supervisor at 61. Not glamorous. Not impressive. Just honest. Work. My daughter Amanda. She's different. Went to college. Got her MBA. Works in finance in the city. Makes good money. Wears expensive suits. Drives a car that costs more than my first house. And she's always been a little embarrassed by her old man. Never said it directly, but I could tell. The way she'd change the subject when her friends asked what I did. The way she'd leave out certain details about where she grew up. I never held it against her. Kids want better lives than their parents. That's natural. That's progress. My wife Helen and I, we lived simple. Same house for 41 years. 3-bedroom ranch in a working class neighborhood. Nothing fancy, but it was paid off. No mortgage, no debt, just home. Helen passed 4 years ago. Cancer. Quick and cruel. After the funeral, Amanda started calling more often. Every Sunday, like clockwork. I appreciated it, even though I knew she was checking on me. Making sure the old man wasn't losing his marbles. Last Thanksgiving, she insisted I come to her place. Big house in the suburbs. Her husband, Derek, is a lawyer. They got 2 kids, both in private school. Everything is granite countertops and hardwood floors and wine. That costs more than my monthly grocery bill. During dinner, Derek mentioned they were looking at vacation homes. Something in the mountains. An investment property. Amanda said, "We're still deciding if we can swing it financially. It's a big commitment." I said, "How much are we talking?" $350,000, Derek said. "But it's a great location. Property values are climbing." I nodded, took a bite of turkey, didn't say anything else. After dinner, Amanda pulled me aside in the kitchen. "Dad, I've been meaning to talk to you about something." Here it comes, I thought. The nursing home conversation. The "you can't live alone forever" speech. But instead she said, "Derek and I have been talking. We want to help you out financially. I know retirement can be tight, and with Mom gone, you don't have her pension anymore either." I said, "I'm doing fine, honey. Dad, be honest. You worked in a factory. You can't have much saved. And at your age, you should be enjoying life, not worrying about money." I dried a dish, set it down carefully. "Amanda, I appreciate the thought, but I don't need help." She smiled. That patient smile people give when they think you're too proud to accept reality. "Dad, there's no shame in it. We're family. That's what family does." "I know, honey. And if I needed help, you'd be the first person I'd call. But I'm telling you, I'm okay." She looked at Derek. He looked at her. Some kind of silent conversation. Then she said, "Dad, when's the last time you looked at your bank statements? Do you know how much you have saved?" "I know exactly how much I have." "How much?" I could have told her right then, but something stopped me. Maybe it was the way she asked, like she was preparing to be shocked by how little it was, like she was already planning her intervention. So I said, "Why don't you come by the house next week? I'll show you my statements. Then you can see for yourself that I'm fine." She agreed. Set it up for the following Tuesday. Said she'd come by after work. That week, I went through my filing cabinet, pulled out all my documents, bank statements, investment, accounts, CDs, bonds, everything organized in manila folders, just like Helen used to do it. See, here's what Amanda didn't know. What nobody knew, really. When I started at Morrison Steel in 1970, I was making $3.50 an hour, 12-hour shifts, 6 days a week. It was hard work, dangerous work, but it was steady. Helen worked too, secretary at the elementary school. We pooled every penny, lived on half of what we made, saved the rest. Everyone thought we were cheap. Maybe we were. We didn't take vacations, didn't buy new cars, didn't eat out. Hand-me-down clothes for Amanda until she was in high school and started throwing fits about it. But we had a plan. Helen and we'd sit at the kitchen table every Sunday night with a calculator in our checkbook, figure out where every dollar went, where every dollar would go. We maxed out my 401k from the day the company started offering it, put money into IRAs, bought savings, bonds. When CDs were paying 8, 9, 10% back in the 80s, we locked money away for years. We lived through the recession in the 70s, watched our neighbors lose their jobs, their homes. We learned. We prepared. In 1985, Morrison Steel offered early retirement packages. A bunch of senior guys took it, got their payout, spent it on boats and RVs and trips to Florida. Most of them were broke within 5 years. I stayed, kept working, kept saving. In 2001, the stock market crashed. All my coworkers were panicking, pulling money out, locking in losses. Helen and we bought more. Stocks were on sale. We bought. In 2008, it happened again. Financial crisis. Everyone losing their minds. We bought more. In 2008, it happened again. Financial crisis. Everyone losing their minds. We bought more. Amanda was in college then. She called home crying because her finance professor was saying the economy might never recover. I told her, "Honey, I've seen this movie before. The market always recovers. Might take time, but it always does." She didn't believe me. She was 22. What did her factory worker dad know about markets? But I've been investing for 38 years by then. I'd seen ups and downs, crashes and booms. And I knew the secret that rich people know and poor people don't. Time in the market beats timing the market. Every paycheck for 43 years, money went into investments. Automatic, non negotiable. Before we paid bills, before we bought groceries, we paid ourselves. Helen called it our freedom fund. Said it was our ticket to not being a burden on Amanda when we got old. She never got to see it fully mature. Cancer took her at 68. But before she died, we sat in her hospital room, and she made me promise something. She said, "Walter, don't you dare touch that money for anything except enjoying your life. You've earned it. We've earned it. And when the time comes, Amanda will be shocked. But don't you dare feel guilty about it. So I promised. The Tuesday after Thanksgiving, Amanda showed up at my house at 6:30, still in her work clothes. She had a folder with her, probably financial planning documents, brochures for retirement communities, information about reverse mortgages. We sat at the kitchen table, same table Helen and I sat at for 41 years. Same table where we planned our future. Amanda said, "Dad, before we look at your statements, I want you to know Derek and I have been talking to a financial advisor. There are programs that can help seniors who don't have much saved. It's nothing to be embarrassed about." I said, "Amanda, just look at the statements." I handed her the first folder, my main checking and savings account. She opened it, looked at the balance. Her eyes widened. "Dad, this says you have $87,000 in checking. That's my cash cushion for emergencies. 87,000 is your emergency fund?" Your mother and I always kept a year's worth of expenses liquid. Old habits. She stared at me, then opened the next folder. My 401k statement. She didn't say anything for a long moment, just stared at the paper. Finally, "Dad, this says your 401k has $943,000. Sounds about right. Market's been good this year. $943,000. From working at a steel mill. Compound interest, honey. 43 years of it." She opened the next folder. My IRA, then my Roth IRA, then my brokerage account, then my bonds and CDs. With each folder, her eyes got wider. Her jaw got slacker. When she finished, she just sat there, silent, staring at the pile of statements on the table. Then she laughed. Not a happy laugh, not an impressed laugh, a shocked, almost hysterical laugh. The kind of laugh that comes where your brain can't process what your eyes are seeing. "Dad, according to these statements, you have $2.4 million. Then open the next folder. My 401k statement. She didn't say anything for a long moment, just stared at the paper. Finally, "Dad, this says your 401k has $943,000. Sounds about right. Market's been good this year. $943,000. From working at a steel mill. Compound interest, honey. 43 years of it." She opened the next folder. My IRA, then my Roth IRA, then my brokerage account, then my bonds and CDs. With each folder, her eyes got wider. Her jaw got slacker. When she finished, she just sat there, silent, staring at the pile of statements on the table. Then she laughed. Not a happy laugh, not an impressed laugh, a shocked, almost hysterical laugh. The kind of laugh that comes when your brain can't process what your eyes are seeing. "Dad, according to these statements, you have $2.4 million. She wiped her eyes. "Dad, this is insane. You could have been living so much better. You could have traveled, bought a nicer house, a new car. I could have, but I didn't need those things. What I needed was security, freedom, the knowledge that I'd never be a burden on anyone, that I could take care of myself no matter what happened." But $2.4 million. Is your inheritance, I said. Well, yours and whatever charities your mother wanted to donate to. She had a whole list. Amanda stared at me. You're leaving this to me? Who else would I leave it to? You're my daughter. This is what your mother and I worked for. We lived below our means so you could inherit above them. She started crying, really crying this time. Stood up, came around the table, hugged me so hard I thought she might crack my ribs. Dad, I'm so sorry. For what? For assuming. For thinking you didn't know what you were doing. For being embarrassed that you worked in a factory. For not understanding that you were smarter than all of us. I patted her back. You weren't embarrassed, honey. You were protective. There's a difference. I was embarrassed, she said. When I was in high school, when my friend would ask what you did, I'd say, manufacturing instead of factory worker. I made it sound more important than it was because I was ashamed. I know. You knew. Of course I knew. But Amanda, listen to me. I was never ashamed of what I did. I provided for my family. I worked honest hours for honest pay. I saved and invested wisely. That's nothing to be ashamed of. She pulled back, wiped her eyes. Derek is going to die when I tell him. Maybe don't mention it to Derek just yet. Why not? Because this isn't his business. Not yet, anyway. This is between you and me. Between our family. She nodded slowly, understanding. We talked for 3 more hours that night. I showed her everything. The spreadsheets Helen used to track every investment. The strategy we'd followed. The discipline we'd maintained. I showed her how we'd started with nothing. How we'd built it penny by penny, paycheck by paycheck, decade by decade. I explained the power of living below your means, of paying yourself first, of letting compound interest do the heavy lifting. I told her about the co-workers who'd made fun of me for driving an old truck, who'd laughed when I brought my lunch in a paper bag instead of eating out, who'd call me cheap. Some of those guys made more money than me. Some of them retired with better pensions. But most of them are broke now, or dead, or dependent on their kids. I told her about the choices Helen and I made, the vacations we didn't take, the restaurants we didn't eat at, the clothes we didn't buy, and I told her it was worth it. Every sacrifice, every delayed gratification, because we had something those other people didn't have. We had freedom. When you have money, you have options. You can say no to things. You can walk away from situations that don't serve you. You can help people without asking for permission. You're not trapped, not dependent, not desperate. That's what wealth really is. It's not about fancy cars or big houses. It's about freedom. Amanda left that night around 10 o'clock. Gave me another long hug at the door. She said, Dad, I'm going to tell everyone about this. No, you're not. Why not? Because the moment you tell people you're going to inherit money, they treat you differently. They want things. They expect things. They resent you for having something they don't. But trust me, honey, I worked with guys who won the lottery, inherited money, got big settlements. Within a year, their lives were miserable. Everyone had their hand out. Everyone had a problem that money could solve. So what do? You live your life. You work hard. You save your money. And when I'm gone, You use this inheritance to give your kids the same security your mother and I are giving you. That's what you do. She nodded. Understood. 3 weeks later, Amanda and Derek bought their vacation home. Paid cash. $350,000. Amanda called me afterward. Dad, I used money from our savings. But knowing what I know now, knowing what I'll inherit someday, it made it easier. It made the decision less scary. That's what security does, I said. It lets you take chances. It lets you enjoy life without fear. Thank you, Dad. Don't thank me. Thank your mother. She's the one who kept us disciplined all those years. I just went to work. She made sure we stayed on track. That was 6 months ago. Since then, Amanda and I have gotten closer. She comes by every week. We talk about money sometimes, but mostly we just talk about life. She asks questions about her mother, about how we made decisions, about what we sacrificed and why. And I tell her the truth. We sacrificed nothing that mattered. We had everything we needed. We had each other. We had security. We had peace of mind. The fancy stuff, the new cars and big houses and expensive vacations, those are nice, but they're not what makes you happy. They're not what gives you peace. What gives you peace is knowing you're okay, that you can handle whatever life throws at you, that you're not at the mercy of your next paycheck or your boss's mood or the economy's whims. That's what Helen and I built. Not wealth for wealth's sake, but freedom, security, peace. Last month, Amanda brought her kids over. My grandkids. Sarah is 15. Jake is 12. We were sitting on my back porch, and Sarah said, "Grandpa, Mom says you used to work in a factory." That's right. Did you like it? I thought about that question. Really thought about it. You know what, sweetie? I did. It was hard work. Long hours. Not glamorous. But it was honest. And it gave me something precious. What? It gave me the ability to take care of the people I love. Your grandma, your mom, and now you. That's what work is really about. It's not about the job title or the office. It's about what that work lets you do for the people you care about. She nodded, didn't fully understand. She's 15, but she will someday. Jake asked, "Grandpa, are you rich?" I smiled. "What's rich, buddy?" "Having lots of money." "Then no, I'm not rich. I am comfortable." There's a difference. What's the difference? Rich is having more than you need. Comfortable is having enough. I've got enough. He thought about that. Then he said, "I want to be comfortable when I grow up." Then be smart with your money. Save more than you spend. Don't try to impress people. And remember that the fancy stuff doesn't make you happy. The people in your life make you happy. Amanda was listening from the kitchen. When the kids went inside to get snacks, she came out and sat next to me. "Dad, you're teaching them what you taught me. Trying to. They're lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have them." She paused, then said, "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Always." "Do you ever regret it? The sacrifices? The things you didn't do?" I looked out my yard. Same yard I've mowed for 41 years. Same trees Helen and I planted when we moved in. Same fence I repaired a dozen times. "Not once," I said. "Your mother and I lived exactly the life we wanted. We had each other. We had you. We had security. Everything else is just noise. She smiled, leaned her head on my shoulder like she used to do when she was little. I'm sorry I laughed when I saw your bank statement. Don't be. It was funny. Watching your face was worth 43 years of brown bagging my lunch. She laughed, a real laugh this time, happy. And sitting there on that porch, in that house, in that life I'd built penny by penny, I thought about Helen, about how proud she'd be, not of the money. She never cared about that. She'd be proud that Amanda finally understood, that she got it, that she saw the value in what we'd built. And she'd be proud that I kept my promise, that I didn't feel guilty, that I owned what we'd accomplished. Because here's what nobody tells you about being frugal, about saving, about living below your means. People will judge you. They'll call you cheap. They'll say you're wasting your life. But those same people will be broke at 70, dependent on their kids, dependent on the government, dependent on luck. I'm 74 years old. I have no debt. I have enough money to live comfortably for the rest of my life. I can help my daughter without sacrificing my own security. And when I die, I'll leave her and my grandkids set up for success. That's not cheap. That's smart. That's discipline. That's love. So yeah, my daughter laughed when she saw my savings. But when the laughter stopped, she understood. And that's all I ever wanted. Helen used to say, Walter, we're not building wealth. We're building freedom. She was right. And now I'm free. Free from worry, from debt, from depending on anyone. And that freedom? That's the real treasure. The bank account is just the evidence. So to anyone watching this who's struggling to save, who's living paycheck to paycheck, who thinks they'll never get ahead, let me tell you something. You can. I did. And I started with $3.50 an hour. It's not about how much you make. It's about how much you keep. It's about discipline, consistency, playing the long game. It's about saying no to the things that don't matter so you can say yes to the things that do. It's about understanding that freedom is better than flash. Security is better than status. Peace of mind is better than keeping up with the Joneses. My daughter laughed when she saw my savings. But you know what she's doing now? She's saving. Really saving. Not just putting away a little bit. She's living below her means. Investing. Aggressively. Building her own freedom. Because she learned what I learned. What Helen taught us both. Money is not about what you buy. It's about what you don't have to worry about. And that's worth more than any vacation home or luxury car or fancy dinner could ever be. Helen, honey, if you're listening up there, we did it. We made it. And Amanda understands now. She finally understands. And I'm so damn proud of that. Well, that's my tale of payback, folks. Thanks a bunch for sticking with me through this wild ride. Means the world to an old factory hand like me. If you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button and join the crew for more confessions. Appreciate y'all.